Good evening. Is this on? Can y'all hear it? Hello? Is it working? Okay. Happy New Year. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Board of Trustees is now convened in the Committee of the Whole meeting on Monday, January 13th, 2020 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, located at 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, for the purpose of reviewing that portion of the Thursday, January 16th, 2020 regular board meeting agenda designated as action items and to hear designated reports and recognitions posted in the meeting notice as required by Texas law. No action will be taken at this meeting. I want to welcome the members of the audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and the day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV Online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. If you haven't done that, please do that. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would also like to take an opportunity to recognize our community leadership committees who are in attendance, and unfortunately, they are not here tonight. They're probably at home getting ready for the game. The recognitions, board comments, and the citizen participation portion of the agenda will be presented at the regular board meeting on Thursday, January the 16th, 2020. At this time, we will proceed with the public comments portion of the agenda. And tonight, we have no one signed up for public comments. Basically, it says patrons who are duly registered per policy BED local may address the board and make public comments on an agenda item during or before the board's consideration of the item. The board may allow public comment or agenda items at all meetings. The board will continue with the remaining agenda after the registered patrons have had an opportunity to speak. And like I said, and I got out of line there, no one has signed up. We will now proceed with the public hearing portion of the agenda. Public hearing 5A. The board will hold a public hearing at the board work session on Monday, January the 13th, 2020, to discuss the 2018-19 annual report describing the educational performance of the district and of each campus in the district. Presenters tonight are Dr. Linda Macias and Dr. Ashley Claiborne.
Good evening, President Covey, board members, and Dr. Henry. The Texas Education Code requires each district's Board of Trustees to publish an annual report that includes a district accreditation status, Texas Academic Performance Report known as the TAPER, campus performance objectives, and information received from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and a report of the violent or criminal incidents. As I've read these items, you're probably saying we've already heard about many of these areas, and we have. We've shared much of this information with you throughout the fall semester, including the STAR data that's being presented here this evening. So without further ado, Dr. Claiborne will walk us through the report.
We'll begin the public hearing with data taken directly from the district's Texas Academic Performance Report, also known as TAPER. This report contains a variety of testing, demographic, personnel, and financial data, and it may be accessed by following the path before you. Yearly, the Commissioner of Education determines the accreditation status of each school district. Accreditation statuses are based on districts meeting specific academic and financial standards. For the 18-19 school year, Cy-Fair remains an accredited school district. Additionally, our district's current special education determination status with the Texas Education Agency meets requirements. As you review the 2017-18 and the 2018-19 demographic data disaggregated by student group, you will see that Cy-Fair continues to grow in size with a diverse student population. Please take a moment to review our STAR data by content area and student group at the approaches grade level or above standard. These data represent all tests taken combined into one percentage. The passing percentages at this level will always be the highest due to the fact that approaches grade level represents the minimum passing standard. At the far right-hand side of the table, you will see the state data at the approaches level or above and the difference between Cy-Fair and the state. The next passing standard is meets grade level or above. Please keep in mind that the percent of students passing at this level is not yet as high as those reaching the approaches grade level standard. All campuses are working on increasing the number of students reaching the meets grade level standard by setting CIP targets related to this level and implementing related strategies to increase student performance. The highest passing level on STAR is master's grade level. As a reminder, the master's grade level standard is the very highest passing standard a student may achieve. Therefore, the percent of students passing at this level is not as high as those reaching the approaches or the meets grade level standard. CIP targets for the master's level are set, and campuses are actively implementing strategies to work towards students performing at the very highest levels. The four-year graduation rate for grades 9 through 12 in Cy-Fair ISD is displayed for the class of 2018. Now we will move to the topic of tracking Cy-Fair students after high school using two main data sources. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, which tracks students who enroll in a four-year, two-year, or independent college or university in Texas, and the National Student Clearinghouse, which tracks students at 98% of all public and private institutions in the entire country. Let's begin our data review with the class of 2017 and the percent of students enrolled in college any time during their first year after high school. In yellow, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board reports for the class of 2017, 61% of our graduates enrolled in four-year, two-year, or independent colleges and universities in Texas only. In purple, the National Student Clearinghouse reports, again for the class of 2017, 72% of our graduates can be found in a public or private institution, including online programs, throughout the entire country. Let's take a deeper look at the National Student Clearinghouse data. 66% of the class of 2017 were found in a public institution, and 6% were found in a private institution. 38% of the class of 2017 were enrolled in a two-year institution, and 34% were enrolled in a four-year institution. 66% of the class of 2017 attended an in-state institution, and 6% attended an out-of-state institution. In regard to the campus performance objectives, these are included in the campus improvement plans and may be found by following the path on the screen. Under Goal 1 of each campus improvement plan are the STAR targets for approaches, meets, and masters grade level performance. Our final set of data are taken from the annual report on violence and violence prevention. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District's rate of infractions for 1819 was .009, with the student population of 116,245. This statistic includes only data that are correlated to specific Texas Education Agency discipline action reason codes. Therefore, it does not include every infraction detailed in the Cy-Fair local code of conduct. This concludes the presentation for this evening. At this time, we would be happy to answer any questions.
Board, anyone have a question? I'm looking both ways. Mr. Jackson.
And I would like to repeat what Linda said. We have received this information before, and we have reviewed it before. So even though this is a public hearing, we may not have a large number of questions, but it's not as if we haven't examined the information in detail. If you would, please highlight the progress that our students who are part of SSI and those who required accelerated services. That's page 25 of the board book.
So page 9 of the taper.
Yes.
Okay, so under the Student Success Initiative for grade 5 reading, students meeting the approaches grade level on the first STAR administration is 77%. And then 5th grade students reaching the approaches grade level in mathematics is, oh, excuse me, I think I said the first one wrong. 5th grade reading is 84%.
Correct.
And 5th grade math is 86%. 8th grade reading is 86%, and 8th grade math is 85%.
And for the SSI students, do they continue to outperform both Region 4 and the state or not?
Yes, sir. Our students in SSI grade levels are outperforming both the region and the state.
And the percentage of students that require SSI, is that greater than or less than the state average? i.e., do more of our students need to be enrolled in SSI or fewer?
Our students requiring additional accelerated instruction, which I think maybe you mean by being enrolled in SSI?
Correct.
Okay, so that number for Cy-Fair is lower than the state in every category, lower than the state and region in every grade level.
So even though we have fewer students requiring the additional studies, they still, after being given the second assessment and additional time on task, they still outperform.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
If you would, please comment, I think it's page 17 of the taper, on college readiness for our students and how we compare to the state as well as Region 4.
When we look at the college and career and military ready graduates, the student achievement section, which is essentially the data from domain 1 of the state accountability system, the district is outperforming the state and the region at 68.3% of students being college, career, and military ready.
And then there's I think it's on page 19. If you take a look and it says completed and received credit for college prep courses, we have zeros.
Yes, sir.
Would you please comment on that?
I'd be happy to. Cy-Fair has an agreement with Lone Star College, whereas our students that are taking English 4L and advanced algebra, if they earn a C or higher in those courses, they're able to enroll in Lone Star College without taking the TSI. So we cannot have English 4L and advanced algebra count for the college prep courses in addition to counting for them to receive graduation credit. One course cannot count in two places. So those courses for our students are counting for graduation as opposed to a college prep course.
And Mr. Jackson, we evaluated that when we realized that that was going to appear on the taper, and we felt what was best for students was to continue what we were doing with Lone Star College.
Absolutely. But this is an anomaly, and without a clear explanation, it does look like a row of zeros, which it is, but as always, Cy-Fair is performing at a higher level, even though the numbers that the state comes up with do not always disclose that. Thank you for a very thorough report, and thank you again for reviewing the information and taking the time to do so.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am, Julie.
Thank you for the very thorough report and all the information that was sent in the board packet. Very helpful. My first thought was we are well on our way to achieving that 60 by 30 goal that the governor has challenged us with. I feel like we have such a strong, we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we need to be to meet that goal in terms of having our students be college career ready, have certification or some post-secondary degree by 2030. One thing, and I was just looking for it, I can't find it. I printed it and left it at home. But social studies is our highest. Seems to be we perform best in social studies, and I'm just curious, why is that? That's one question.
Okay.
I'll let you do that first.
Okay, Dr. Macias, you want to answer that one?
I'm just curious. It just jumped out at me that we have such high scores in social studies.
Excuse me. That has been historically the pattern that we've seen here in Cy-Fair.
Okay.
That, and if you look at all of our EOCs, our high schools perform
US
very,
history?
very well. But you're right, social studies outperforms them. And I don't really have a good answer for you. Our
Just a strength, I guess.
it certainly is. We have a strong curriculum there there as well, and certainly a lot of hands-on type activities.
Great, thank you. My only other, it's not a question, it's an observation. We have so much information on STAR, and as we've talked about before, no one honestly cares about STAR once after they graduate, right? Companies don't ask for your STAR score when you apply for a job. Colleges don't care about your STAR test scores when you apply to college. But SAT, ACT scores are important, and that's just something I don't have a question,
Okay.
Dr. Claiborne, just something that I want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on that. I know we're not held accountable for those scores necessarily, but it's something that's important. As a mom, we've been working on our college applications, and that's just on the forefront of my mind, that's something that we need to make sure we're keeping an eye on our SAT, ACT scores as well. And I appreciate that the district offers the ACT to all juniors, so that is not a barrier for our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Board? We're okay? Thank you, Dr. Claiborne and Dr. Macias. Great report. We appreciate what y'all are doing, always. The board will now review the following consensus action items. 6A, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater by Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Do we have any questions about that? Okay. 6B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the December 12th, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting. Do we have any questions or concerns or changes? We're okay? 6C, the board will consider approving the minutes of the December 16th, 2019 regular board meeting. Do we have any changes or concerns with that? Okay, the board will now review the following non-consensus action items. 7 action items non-consensus. 7A, the board will consider approving the calendar committee's recommendation for the 2020-2021 instructional calendar. Dr. Macias.
Good evening again, President Covey. This evening, we would like to highlight a few important aspects of the 2020-2021 instructional calendar that was developed by a district calendar committee and that you have before you. In November of 2019, a 35-member Instructional Calendar Committee was organized and charged with developing an instructional calendar for the 2020-21 school year. This committee includes parents, community and business members, campus administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, district administrators. We really try to have a wide representation of our community as part of the committee. Some of the members of our calendar committee were able to join us this evening. And so if you're a member of the 2020-21 Instructional Calendar Committee, please stand so that we can recognize you. I want to thank you for your work and your focus on a calendar that's best for our students. The committee reviewed the requirements mandated by law for the instructional calendar, and you've seen these every year, but I want to highlight just a couple. First of all, just a reminder that the mandate is that we have at least 75,600 minutes, and that for students, it's minutes that makes up the instructional calendar, but for teachers, it is still days. The fourth Monday of August is still mandated as a first day that we can have for instruction. The rest you've seen every year. Go ahead, Angel. And then as the committee worked with us on the calendar, these were some parameters that we focused on, and these are areas that have been important as we developed the calendar. First of all, and more importantly, is that we were developing a calendar that was instructionally sound for students. Not when the best time for vacations were, or holidays, extended holidays, but it was truly a calendar that was instructionally best for our students. But certainly they considered state law, they considered the timing of the professional development days. We had to look at the testing calendar to make sure that we weren't taking a holiday or a professional day the day before a testing day. And we always look or consider summer school, and we consider calendars for the surrounding school districts, because many times we share teachers. And then we always consider the calendar established by Lone Star College, because as you know, our students are taking dual credit classes and our teachers are also teaching them. So let's take a quick look at the calendar. So first of all, as I said, you will notice that the first day of instruction is August 24th, and the last day of instruction you'll see there as May 27th. Please note that is right before Memorial Day, so we actually get out right before Memorial Day in this calendar. There is again a week for Thanksgiving break, November 23rd to 27th. The winter holiday or Christmas break begins on December 24th for students and goes through January 4th. So the students' first day back in the spring semester is Tuesday, January 5th. Notice that spring break is March 15th through March 19th. It's actually a week later than it is this year. And again, we line it up with Lone Star College to make sure that we have that time with our teachers. There are 3 student and teacher holidays on this calendar, which is what we've typically had in our other calendars. Monday, September 7th, Labor Day. Monday, January 18th, Martin Luther King Day. Monday, April 2nd, Good Friday. There are 4 professional development days that are within the first and last day of instruction, so during the instructional calendar, the time that we have with our students. So let's first look at Tuesday, November 3rd. I'm gonna get out of order. That is Election Day. And so you may recall that in the calendar we're in right now, Election Day was also a professional day, a student holiday. In this calendar, this will include the presidential election day. And you may recall that we've had a concern, our campuses have had a concern with the number of people that are there and just the security of our students. So you all opted to have Election Day as a professional development day, student holiday. Now, we noticed, because we do look at absences and trends when we're looking at the calendar, we did notice that the Monday before Election Day, we had a dip in student absences, and we also had teacher absences. So the committee looked at that, and so they're recommending a holiday for that Monday before Election Day. So Monday the 2nd, to be a student holiday and a professional development day for our teachers. So that's where that fourth professional day comes in, okay? So therefore, the committee is recommending adding Monday, November 2nd, the day before Election Day, is a professional development day, student holiday. And so based on the campus needs, our campus leaders may choose to have teachers trade those days off for other days' work. For example, a training that they attended on a weekend, or a training they attended before school started. Campuses, depending on their needs, may have teachers work those days off, and it's possible teachers could have a four-day weekend. I will share with you that question came up regarding October. If you look at October, there isn't a holiday at all in there, and so that did come up as a question. But because that November day is so early in November, the committee felt that we would be okay with not having that any time in October and continuing with that November date. We then took those. I will tell you as well that that the committee voted unanimously for this calendar, and we also have to take it to the DEIC, and the DEIC, which is mostly teachers that are involved in that as well, also unanimously voted for this calendar. So let's continue with our professional development days. You will see Monday, January 4th, as a professional development day and student holiday, and then Monday, February 15th. Those are custom. We basically have those every single year on our calendar. You'll note that the 15th of February is also noted as an inclement weather day, so that if we need to take an additional day, then that's where we would pull it from. So these 4 days require that a waiver be submitted to the Texas Education Agency, and we will do that once the board determines whether they want to accept this calendar or not. The last group of dates that are on the calendar, I'd like to point out, they actually lie outside the instructional calendar, which means the first day of instruction to the last day of instruction. And you'll notice August 10th through 14th, August 17th through 21 are our professional development days before school starts. One week is with the district, the other week is at the campus. We've been doing this for quite a while now. And then May 28th is a teacher work day, and then it's also our second inclement weather day. So these are the professional development days, but again, the only ones that fall within the first and the last day of instruction are the ones that require the waiver. Again, I shared that our teachers work 187 days. With this calendar, the minutes translate to 172 days. And let's see. The 172 days plus the professional development days, those 4 professional development days, actually total up to 76,500 minutes. So it's 900 more minutes that we need. So we already have 2 days of possible inclement weather days built into the calendar. So if we had one day ice storm, we wouldn't have to make anything up. It's already in the calendar. 2 days, the same thing. The third day is when we would tap into the days listed as inclement weather days. So that's a proposal that I bring to you from our instructional calendar committee. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Board, anyone have any questions? I'm looking. I just have one, Dr. Macias, because if May the 27th is the last day of class, when do we look at graduations? Is that going to be before the last day of class, or is it going to be over the Memorial Weekend?
I'm going to throw that back to Dr. Stewart. That's her area.
It's her fault?
I don't have my calendar, but I think it's before, I'm almost sure it's before the holiday. I'm not on. If you by any chance, do you have the graduation? We do have a proposal, but I'm not sure at that date.
If I remember right, there'll be 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, 4 on Friday, and 4 on Saturday.
Just like we always
Yeah.
do.
Wow.
So that'll be on the Memorial Weekend then?
It'll be the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay, all right. That's all I had. Anyone else? Thank the committee. My gosh, I think they did, and that they voted unanimously. That's fabulous. Thank you very much. 7B, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. Number 1, CKC Local Safety Program Risk Management Emergency Plans as revised. Yo, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, you told me we need to get through so we can watch the game, right? Okay. Okay. Would y'all like to move 7A to consent? Yes. Is that okay? Can I move on now? Is that okay? All right. All right. Number 1, CKC Local Safety Program Risk Management Emergency Plans revised. Number 2, CKE Local Safety Program Risk Management Security Personnel revised. Number 3, EHBAF Local Special Education Video and Audio Monitoring revised. Number 4, FFAA Local Wellness and Health Services Physical Examinations are revised. Number 5, FFB Local Student Welfare Crisis Intervention and add. Number 6, FFBA Local Crisis Intervention Trauma Informed Care and add. Number 7, FL Local Student Records revised. Number 8, GBAA Local Information Access Request for Information revised. Number 9, GRA Local Relations with Government Entities, State and Local Governmental Authorities are revised. Can we move that to consent? Okay. 7C, the board will consider approving the interlocal governmental agreement between Harris County Municipal Utility District, HCMUD, number 396, HCMUD, number 397, and Cypress-Fairbanks ISD for funding to install shades over playground equipment and science garden improvements at Swinky Elementary School, and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and execute all related documents. Before we begin any questions on this item, we would like to take this opportunity to recognize Tim Applewhite, representatives of MUD 386 and 397. They are contributing up to $50,000 for Swinky Elementary School's shades over the playground equipment and for their science and garden improvements. Swinky Principal Liz Miller is here tonight as well. Thank you, Tim. Mark, you want to make some comments?
I was just, we have such a great relationship with our MUDs, and we certainly do appreciate all that you do for us, and just the continued cooperation between the two government agencies helps our citizens and certainly helps our children. I just wanted to come down and thank you for that and make sure we get a good picture with Dr. Miller.
Okay, get a picture. Awesome. Tim, that's very generous, and we are most appreciative as a board and certainly as the students. And I'm quite sure the teachers like being under the canopy as well. So thank you very much. Can we move that to consent, or would you like that stand alone? Consent? Okay. 7D, the board will discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. This item may be discussed in closed session. This has been moved to Thursday for a closed session. 7E, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and are authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. Presenter is Bill Powell. Bill, do you need to make a presentation? You want me to just read them off? Okay, questions only. Bark mulch. What? Okay, look, I'm hard of hearing, so if y'all are talking about me, I just like hearing what you're saying, okay? Career and Technology Equipment Repair Service, HVAC refrigerants. Can we move that to consent? Is that okay? And we're up to superintendent's briefing. I'm sorry, what? Isn't that what we just said? What did I miss? Superintendent, do I need to go back and do something legally? Marnie, where am I? Thank you. Thank you. The superintendent's briefing and board team of 8 training portion of the agenda will be presented at the regular board meeting on Thursday, January the 16th, 2020. Yes, sir?
I've got a 5-page little letter I would like to read.
It better be your resignation.
Oh, Lord. Oh, hey, Don, you just dropped the mic on that one. All right, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.